Hello, fabulous people. This is the Together podcast, and this is the place where Sharice and I come together to help you get it together for your everyday business life. So we hope you enjoy.
All right. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Happy
So excited to
Tuesday.
be here with you guys. Yes, happy Tuesday. And it doesn't look like it's going to be a sunny day. I think it might be a rainy day today. I haven't checked the weather report, but I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Life is good. Life is good.
It's
All right.
amazing.
Today, first of all, I'm Natalie Elliott, and this is the fabulous Sharice B. All right.
Hey.
How you feeling today, Sharice? What's going on?
Feeling good. Busy weekend. We had the Iconic Kiss Masterclass on Sunday.
Ooh, the iconic what?
Iconic Kiss Masterclass with my friends Carla and Timmy.
Iconic Kiss Masterclass?
Iconic Kiss. Yeah. Their business is Iconic Image Consulting and Vanity Kiss Boutique. So they merged, and it's called Iconic Kiss Masterclass, and then I'm the special guest. So
okay.
Yeah, so it's really good. It's all about image, beauty, style. We had a special guest, Dr. Ayana. She spoke to us about menopause, and it was so good. It was so good. So that was Sunday, and you know how events are, and it was a pretty big event. And then Monday, I was right on the plane to see my client. So I'm actually over in North Carolina now, and so that's it. Busy.
Well, thank you so much for always taking time to show up with us, with me. So thank you.
This is my assignment, baby.
I love it. But I just want to take a minute to say, like, your dedication is amazing, and I so appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you.
All right, you guys. Today we're talking about why high achieving women struggle with boundaries. Oh, I think this is going to be good. I think it's going to hit home. I want you guys to set up more boundaries. I want you to have boundaries that allow you to scale, because if you don't get those boundaries together, you won't scale. All right. And so we're going to talk about how women leaders can protect their time and their energy today. But I want you guys to get this, because if you don't, you will burn out. And so as a therapist, I get to see, unfortunately, people burn out. I won't say every day, but at least probably one time a week. I'm talking to somebody about, no, you can't do all that at the same time. No wonder you burn out. Hey, I think you burn out, and seeing it. And I so get it, because as women, we're socialized to be helpful and to be relational. To give. It's better to give than receive, to be available, to be responsive. And so you want to be everything for everybody. You want to be the best mom and the best wife and the best corporate person and the best business owner and the best person to your employees. And so I know I was in one coaching program, and they just went through and they were like, okay, what kind of boundaries are you setting with fees? And what type of boundaries are you setting with paying people? And, really getting your boundaries together with money, because that whole is better to give than receive. It's wanting to take care of your people, wanting to provide to your own detriment, and then you burn out. And so those are all the things that we're going to talk about today, because this is one of the things that if you're going to scale, you have to master.
Yeah.
Or you'll be that person that makes it to the top. And I'm gonna say this out loud, and I'm gonna say it to your face. You'll make it to the top, and you'll be that person to commit suicide. Everybody looking at you like, what happened? They had it all together. You scaled, and you couldn't handle it, and you burned out.
Yeah.
And you burned out at such a level. And y'all, let's get real. People who attempt suicide, and I'm so sorry to bring this such heavy, but I want you guys to get this. Like I'm trying to save somebody's life here. I'm trying to keep you from going into the psych hospital for 2 weeks. I'm trying to keep you from breaking down. I'm trying to keep you from crying for 24 hours and you can't figure out how to stop. Yeah. That is why I'm trying to tell you, you got to get these boundaries together. Like, you got to get them together. You've got to learn to say no, because you will scale and it won't be worth it for you. it won't be worth it at all. So you got to learn to say no. You got to give yourself permission to say no. You got to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You're eating enough. You are resting enough. You are hydrating enough. You are moving enough. All of
Yeah.
these things require you to say, because you got to say yes to yourself, they require you to say no to something else. And that's so hard. It's so hard to do. Some of it
Yeah.
is easier for us to do it ourselves and to train somebody else, but you got to take the time to train somebody else to do it. You do. Some of it is, well, my mama ain't never have to do this, so I ain't got to do this. Okay, I'm leaving you. Okay, somebody gonna have to sleep the floor though, and it can't be you because I
Yeah.
need you in that sleep.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
these are the things. So if you're gonna be the great leader that I know you can be, it's going to require you to be decisive. It's going to require you to prioritize. It's going to require you to have something that we haven't talked about, but a disappointment tolerance. Because yes, you will probably be disappointing some people when you can say, okay, yeah, I can't show up to that this weekend because if I don't stay in and rest, it's not going to work well for me now the next week, you know? And so I was just talking to somebody. And I was telling them during my internship year, I was working 7 days a week. And so I burned out 2 to 3 times that year, 2 to 3 times that year. I learned a lot about myself. And I still am struggling with some of the people I disappointed that year because I didn't show up with some things. And so learning to sit with that without beating yourself up is, I think, a skill that we don't talk about at all. Because you got to say no to some things if you're going to continue to grow and scale and build. So, okay. All right, Sharice, jump in. I just said a lie. I just dove in. All right.
Yeah.
So what do you want them to know?
So for one, we talked a lot about community. Your community is so extremely important in identifying your burnout, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so let's be clear. Most of us are at burnout at 50, almost 50, 40s,
Mm-hmm.
you burn out of something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Raising family, work, entrepreneurship, relationships, whatever, health, you're
Mm-hmm.
burnt out
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. And I think what we're not doing is identifying it, right?
Ooh,
We
okay.
have to truly identify what is burnout, because I think we think it's our norm. Let me scoot over a little bit. I think we think it's our norm to be tired and
Mm-hmm.
to always be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not. It's not, because that is what burns you out, always showing up for everyone else, and not showing up for yourself. So the way that looks is, if you're not saying no,
Right.
you're always saying yes to others, right? And that yes always to others and that no to you means you're not taking care of yourself. So now you're dealing with the internal conflict. Okay, if I say no, I'll disappoint someone. Okay, if I slow down, everything is going to fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it faster myself.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to my whole CEO, one woman show, the CEO.
Yep.
That is so important to me,
Yep.
because you have to, in order to take care of yourself, you have to see outside of yourself, right? You have to see that I need help, meaning
Yes.
that I need to hire, I need to delegate, I need to ensure that someone else is assigned to this project called my life, but me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, some of the hidden costs are, resentment at
Say
home
that. Yep.
and business, right?
Yep.
Of course, burnout in the business and at home is, now I'm tired, right? And then you're withdrawing emotionally, right? We start to withdraw and just not really identifying that. So what does withdrawal look like? And I know you can speak to this because you
Yep.
speak to people in their marriage and
Mm-hmm.
business often, especially in the maritalpreneur
Yep.
program that you have. But the thing is, people don't understand what it looks like. Withdrawal is I'm not showing up to work on time. I'm not showing up for my marriage. I'm not doing the workouts. I'm not showing up with the self-care for myself, and just the loss of desire, not just for business or intimacy, but all things,
Yeah.
friendships
Yeah.
across the board.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to hit that burnout in business, because what that'll look like is, I don't want to do this one no more. I just don't want to do it no more.
Yeah.
Not, you know what? I think I'm ready to transition, and I can get the business ready to sell, and I've done all these things so I can sell my business. It's just you wake up and you're done. And so I've seen so many people be done with their business and they just shut it down. And it was like they're one day gone the next day. Like, oh my gosh, what happened? So no handoff, no pass down, no legacy building, no nothing. And so just done. And so if you're feeling that way, please know that you're burning out. Like you're burning out. You actually probably already burned out and you're just running on fumes. And so get support around that. Get support around that. And I think one of the things to help you guys prevent burnout, I want to say this is, make sure you have a do nothing day where you rest and you absolutely do nothing. Like, this is do nothing. You get up, go to the bathroom, maybe get something to eat and get back in the bed or get back on the couch. Like, really have a do nothing day. And it's so hard for entrepreneurs, especially women, to do that. But it's needed. You need a day where you can just rest and rejuvenate, where you can veg out, whatever that looks like for you. Some people, it might look like a walk in the forest. Some people, it's laying on the couch. Some people, it's laying on the bed. Some people are sitting on their back patio, drinking Mai Tais in the middle of the day. But you need to give yourself that day of rest. And you guys, for some of y'all, it might be going on vacation, but for some of y'all, vacation's not restful either. It's not. Like, once you get to the hotel room, you're restful, but the travel, the getting there, the putting everything on hold, the planning and all of that, it's really taxing. And so for you, you just maybe need to stay home for a day, block your whole calendar off for a day. Some of you guys might need to do that once a week, depending on where you are, how burnt out you are. Some of you guys can get away with doing it once a month. So a couple of my clients, I have them doing it every 2 weeks, and that's working really well for them. Like, every other Friday, their calendar is just blocked off and they get to go play in the streets or nothing, but they're not responsible. And it's really helping them have joy when they come back to work. So I really want you guys to learn that you've got to take care of yourself. You are your instrument. You are your best instrument. So you got to take care of yourself. You can't scale if you don't know how to take care of your instrument. I mean, think about anything else, an instrument, an automobile or something. If you wanted to really go the distance and perform at a high level, you've got to take care of it. You can't neglect it for 5 years and then think you're going to go on a cross-country road trip. So, okay. All right. Now, we're going to pivot a little bit, and I want to jump into, what does a boundary that scale actually means? Like, what boundaries do you need to have to start scaling? Okay. All right. So, Sharice, did you want to jump in and say anything before I started going down that list of, like, what boundaries do you need to scale? Because I really want you guys to write this down and, like, take this in. Go ahead. You're muted again.
Sorry about that. It's a little noisy in here, so I was trying to protect y'all from noise. So I would like to understand, like, what is scalability, for across industries, because I think we're using a word that a lot of people don't really understand, Natalie.
Okay.
And it's just one of those buzzwords now that people are using, and I don't think they understand it for them and their business. You understand?
Okay.
You understand? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what I mean by scale is increase your growth.
Mm-hmm.
I'd actually like it to be in a very leveraged way that you're increasing your growth, but that's what I'm saying. Increasing your growth, increasing the capacity of your business so that you can make more money in less time. That's what I'm talking about, scaling. How do we grow this thing in a way that, like, doesn't kill us? How about that?
Okay,
And
good.
so that's what I'm talking about. Do you want to add to the definition or anything, Sharice?
No, one thing I wanted to be clear is there's this fine line that everyone wants to scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
And understanding what the whole scale thing is. When people say scale, I want to make more money, I want to make more money, but you have to understand what it's going to take to make more money. It's just like what you said at the top of the conversation. You were like, hey, stress yourself out, and people keep committing suicide,
Mm-hmm.
overdoing it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the thing is, do you want to scale? Are you at a good pace? Like, understand where you are, because you could be at a good pace, but you have a nervous system issue where, okay, you haven't dealt with your traumas and you think you're struggling still.
Yes.
I have a girlfriend who's made millions. In her millions, she was always scared that she was not going to have enough money to survive and live. But that was because of her
She hadn't done the mind work.
trauma and how she was raised and what she thought. We were always struggling. We don't have enough. There's not enough. And she had enough. She had plenty.
Yeah.
But her subconscious said that she didn't.
Right.
So she was always trying to scale up, right? When it wasn't even necessary. She was doing just fine. So she was stressing herself out. And I think that is a huge problem that we all have. You're probably doing good and just need to systemize.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? And then once you systemize, then you can scale.
Yeah. 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 All right. You kind of read my mind on that, because that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about somewhere in here is having the systems in place that will allow for growth. And so it can't be dependent on you if you're going to really grow. Also, I want to talk about the idea of scaling versus good business growth. And so some of you guys are like, I want to scale my business. I want my business to grow by 100%. Good business growth is 10 to 15% per year. 10 to 15% per year. If you have a business that's consistently growing 10 to 15% per year, you're doing great. You're doing what a good business should be. That's stable. You should be able to grow and sustain the growth. Because what you don't want, have y'all ever seen those trees that get so heavy at the top, they topple over? Because they grew at the top, but the root system wasn't in. And so therefore, you want the root system to really grow. And so good business growth is 10 to 15% per year. All right. To do that, you will notice you have to have systems in place, because you want to get this business to the place where it kind of runs without you. If you make less money because you're not involved in the business, I want you to know that you're working for yourself and you don't have a business system. A business system makes money without you. And so that is what your goal is going to be. All right. So this is some things that you guys got to do. You got to learn to protect your time without explanation of what you're doing to anybody. And really, you explain it to yourself. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to think for an hour. But like you're justifying things to yourself. So you have to switch what Sharice is always talking about into that CEO mindset. The CEO mindset is, I need to be thinking and I need to be strategizing. I don't need to be doing. You need to do the things you need to reduce decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is a real thing.
It's a real thing. It's
so real. Figured it out across multiple industries, multiple things like medical industry, food industry. This is what we know. Decision fatigue is a real thing. So you need to start simplifying your life so you're making less decisions. And then you also need to figure out when is the best time of day for you to make your best decisions. All right. So those things you know. All right. You've got your systems need to be consistent. They don't need to fluctuate according to your mood or the mood of anybody else. Like that's kind of the definition of a system is it works no matter what's going on. It needs to continue to work. So for a lot of you guys, that means y'all need to write a lot of things down that you haven't written down yet. And so you kind of need, I'm going to say a SOP, which is a standard operating procedure for just about everything in your business so that you can hand it off. If there's a job that you're doing, I want you to think, okay, could I hand this off? All right, could I hand this off and be gone for 2 months to somebody else? So they have everything written down for them. So those are the things, and be okay writing it down, which means some of y'all are gonna have to change your systems and the way they're working because can't nobody know could follow that but you, because you've put it together piecemeal over the year. And I know I got my business is looking like that right now. If you ain't grow up with me in this business, it's hard for me to hand it off to somebody else. And so one of the things that I'm working on is how do I get all of these systems down and simplified so that I can take off and the business is still running. So the ideal is you should be able to take off 2 months so your business still runs, still make money without you. And so that's the goal for getting to a scalable business. All right. The business should work whether you're at 6 figures or 7 figures. And so it should be the capacity of your business. What has to happen to increase the capacity of your business? So, okay. All right. Sharice, what's coming up for you? What do you want to jump in and add? Oh, yeah, I think she's out for a minute. All right, so let me go ahead and start talking. Boundaries, some other boundaries that I think you guys need to have as you grow is depending on the work you do, you need to maybe put some phone systems in place so you're not answering the phone 24/7. You may need to, I think you need to put something in place for everything, like a system in place for how you get your mail check, the system in place for how you get your email check, for how the bills get paid. All of these things are systems that need to be put in place. So I want you to think about it. So I'm going to give you guys a homework assignment to track yourself for a week to see all the things that you're doing and then make a plan to get all of that stuff passed off. And so if it's something that you can pay somebody else to do, I really want you to think about doing that so that you can focus on the high strategy stuff, the CEO stuff, and all the little stuff that you're still doing that somebody else can do. All right, Sharice, you're back. Are you back?
Back. Can you see me? Okay,
Yep.
there we go. All right,
Yep.
good.
Okay. Did you want to jump in on anything I said?
Well, one of the things, Natalie, I think that, and I hope I'm staying on topic because I got a little thrown off, but I think that so many people aren't fully aware of the importance of the boundaries and how and the how and the how. I don't think we're putting enough emphasis on as a leader and as a boss, as the CEO. I don't know if they even understand boundaries. Like I'm on the underlining understanding of things now because we have such habits of I have to do it this way because this is how I've always done it, right? And I just want you to hone in a little more on how necessary and how important it is to even change your identity if you have to set boundaries. Being okay, like I don't think that a lot of people are understanding, like if this is your business and this is your livelihood and if this is your legacy, you know, how important it is to set boundaries and set the right boundaries, which to me is systems. So maybe speak to just the important basic baseline of systems, I think, because and I'm talking to myself. I had a system for so long moving in a certain way, but when life changed, I felt like, oh wow, I don't really have a system anymore. And now I'm having to get back to building true systems, right, in my business because now I have an online business. online, the coaching, and the concierge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are two different systems that I have to set up.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first came out here, Natalie, I was still trying to run it like the regular salon.
Oh, okay.
You follow
Okay.
me?
Yeah.
So I want you to speak to people from a therapist mindset of the importance of identity shifting. Like you have to change who you are to
Yeah.
become what you need to be. I
Yeah.
think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think you just said it though. Like you have to change who you are to become who you need to become. And I think it's a lot of little things that like sometimes when I think of setting a boundary, say I'm not going to do something, part of me is like, oh, you being lazy. You just trying to get other people to do your work.
Hmm.
No, baby, you the CEO. So
Yeah.
there's a threshold you should have that you shouldn't work under. And so
Hmm.
if anything is like 5 hour dollar a 5 hour $5 per hour job, you shouldn't be doing. You need to be doing everything that's $100 per hour and above. So
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
strategy stuff, but it's that core that if I ask somebody else to do my work, I'm being lazy. So that's a,
Hmm. Hmm.
and so that'll get
Yeah.
in your way. This that I got to do everything. I got to work hard, and let me just work hard. And if I'm not working hard, I'm not working. And so that's one. So that's two things that get in
Yeah.
the way.
Hmm.
Not sitting down and really saying who I need to be as a leader, that you really just haven't sat down. You've been too busy doing stuff to sit down and think
Hmm.
about who I need to do, who I need to be as a leader. One of my girlfriends,
Hmm.
she's doing a great job talking about working on the business and not in the business. And
Hmm.
so making sure there's time in your week where you're working on your business. And I think right now she's actually saying 4 hours of your day should be working on the business, not in the business. And I think her goal right now is to where all of her work, because she's the CEO, is working on the business and none of it is in the business. She's really trying to get that system to work without her so that she can take off and travel for 2 months at a time. And so those are the things that we want for you. So notice when you need to do these things, when you need to delegate, when you need to shift, when you set a boundary saying, I'm not going to take phone calls after 7 p.m. anymore. Like what happens? What happens to you? Do you feel lazy? Do you feel guilty? What are you feeling inside? Because all of those things will kind of bump up against each other and then have you feeling crazy, sad. Or like we were talking about, now you burning out. You burning out because you can't watch a movie. You can't sit down and totally watch a movie without somebody calling you and you feeling like you have to answer the phone. And so all of those are things that you need to work on internally first, and then externally you can set the boundaries for
Yeah.
yourself to protect yourself. And you guys, this is about protecting yourself so
Yeah.
that you can grow and continue to grow so that you can have the lifestyle that you want. And I'm not
Yeah.
going to talk about it
Absolutely.
today, but I do want to talk about eventually is making sure that your goals are aligned with your action. And so I think there's a good amount of us, I've been there as well, that we're just working to be working or growing to be growing or scaling to be scaling and not saying, I'm scaling so that I can produce this income for this income for this lifestyle. So I don't need to scale to 10 million. I actually only need to scale to 3 million. That gives me a nice little solid company, like a
Yeah.
nice little solid income that allows me to do this, and that and set up my legacy. So I really want you guys to sit down and figure out what your numbers and lifestyle goals are and make sure your business is supporting that. If I
Yeah.
only need to get to 3 million a year, then I don't need to be trying to scale to 10 million a year. I'm
Right.
stressing
That.
myself out for no reason. And I'm growing just because somebody else said they was growing. So they got 20 employees, so I want 20 employees. Okay, baby, you got a whole
Hmm.
different business and a whole different price structure.
Absolutely,
So you
Natalie.
don't need
That's
20 employees.
yes.
And
Yes.
can you
Yes.
and that's their lifestyle. They trying to take care of their mama and their whole family. What are you trying to do? And so really sit down and know be purposeful about what your growth needs to be and why you're growing. Okay. And we're not just growing to be growing, we're growing so that we can create the lifestyle that we want.
Yes. Yes.
That we
That.
Okay. All right, go ahead,
Well,
Sharice. What else you want to say?
because I'm getting excited because that's what I was saying earlier. Social media will have you messed up out here trying to be a billionaire when you're not ready for that. You know, and maybe your six-figure income is just enough for the lifestyle that you need or desire. You know, like we said before, your nervous system may not be able
Right.
to
Right.
handle millions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one, but you're trying to get up to 6, 7 million because someone else said, "Oh, I did this and I did
Right.
that." No, stop it. That's why that
Um,
identity shift is everything. Understand who you are and what it is that you truly desire and what it takes to get there, right? And what are your desires aligned with your true purpose and what you're capable of doing?
yeah. Say that.
You know, and
Yeah.
one thing that you mentioned, I think that you were saying overall is, you know, it's we have to be more system based and mood based. And
Mm-hmm.
that is so extremely important for women because we're
Mm-hmm.
so emotional,
Yep. Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And because we can't move in emotion when it comes to business. You know, I'm learning that more and more by the day. And because, I work with women every single day and we're emotional. And then I have to not be emotional with my emotional self, with my emotional women.
Say it out. Say it
Right.
out. Yeah.
So it's just really, it's a lot. So we have to be, we are multifaceted and we have to stay multifaceted and focus on what our goals are, our purpose and our goals are at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. That clarity, we go back to the base, clarity is everything.
Clarity is everything. All right. Now you
Yeah.
guys, I'm gonna feel like I want to take you on a trip for a second. I want y'all to come over to the side with me. This is what I want to talk about. You're gonna have to learn to trust other people. You can't scale, you can't grow if you can't trust other people. And so a lot of entrepreneurs became entrepreneurs because they were great, because their integrity was great. They would do a job and they would get it done. Okay. And that's what you stand for. And that's what your business stands for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now you're burning out. You need to set some boundaries. You got to have some other people come in, and you can't trust anybody. You're going to have to learn to trust. There's no way you're going to scale if you can't trust. So I will say training and trusting goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to train and then you got to trust. Okay. All right. And so for those of you guys who are having a hard time handing stuff off, delegating, I'm going to need you to go talk to Jesus about how you're going to trust somebody else. And I also need you to know that your people will mess up. And how about this? You messed up. But because it was you, you didn't feel it like that. But because they're not you, now you mad. And so you're going to have to learn how to deal with that. Mm-hmm. That your people aren't you. That you got to train them well, and then you got to trust them, and then you got to be okay when they mess up. And all of this is part of it. And if you've trained really well and your system is really good, then the mess ups won't be detrimental to the business. You'll be able to catch up. But that's a huge part of it, is you being able to trust others. And so if you're trying to do all the things all the time, do you see how you're going to burn out?
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, and me and one of my friends, we were complaining about this at one time. And then I saw a YouTube from Alex Hermanzi, and I was like, oh shoot, okay, I got the answer. We were complaining because we were hiring people who really were not qualified, and we were trying to train them up. And then I heard Alex talk about, you need to hire the people who tell you what to do. Not to tell them what to do. And so you
Right.
have to spend the extra money to get that person who's telling you what to do about that thing. Then that's
Mm-hmm.
what you have to do. And
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
another thing is making sure you're hiring well, that you're not being cheap when you're hiring, and you're hiring the people who know that particular job better than you any day of the week. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
I get it because we were there. Elise and I, we were there. We were like, we're tired of being the smartest person in the room. We're tired of
Yeah.
like dealing with these companies or vendors or stuff, and we're having to tell them their job. It really felt like that with the particular marketing company I had. That like, okay, you just copied what I did.
Mm-hmm.
You should be doing better than what I did because you're the marketing company. Like, I feel like I'm
Yeah.
telling you what to do. And so what
Yeah.
we realized is we were not hiring at the right level of expertise because
Mm-hmm.
we were really kind of letting our money dictate who we should hire. And y'all, there's a thin line in there in how to do that. Cause right, it's just a point where like you ain't really got the money to pay for the talent, and
Mm-hmm.
you just kind of have to figure out how to make it work. It's really,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's easy because it was really hard. But when we started hiring that higher level, we started to see results. And we finally had people telling us what we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm telling you, it's so frustrating. You're like, I'm telling you, I'm not a marketer. You're the marketer. Why am I telling
Yeah.
you?
Exactly.
Like, why are you copying what I did? You should be doing bigger and better and greater. And so I
Yeah.
know it's frustrating, and y'all got to do it. And so that's a huge part of business boundaries is role clarity. So you know what role you're operating in, and you're hiring for the right roles that you need, and you're hiring the right person. And that may take a while to figure out. So be patient with that process because it's like you got to learn and you got to grow and you got to change. And then you got to actually learn the skill of hiring and hiring at the right level.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you have revenue producing activities. And I would like them to not to be dependent on you. I really would like them not to be dependent on you because
Yeah.
you can't walk away for 2 months if all of the revenue producing activities are laying on you.
Mm-hmm.
So it needs to be laying on the business system and what's put in place. You need to have clear policies and procedures, clear policies and procedures. And then figuring out what decisions you need to make and what decisions it's okay for your people to make. And
Mm-hmm.
that's going to take some time. And so I would love for you guys to put self-care in place so that as your business is in this time of transition, that it can go smoothly and well. Because it's a lot to figure out. It's a level of business right in there where it's a lot to figure out when you start handing it off to the next person so that you can scale and have
Yeah.
consistent good business growth. All right, Sharice, what do you want to jump in and say?
So I'd like to talk about some of the well, kind of pivoting a little bit, but it's an important topic. The leaks where the energy leaks
Yeah.
that women don't see, right?
Ooh,
Um, which lead to the money leaks. This right here, ooh, 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 ooh,
yeah.
honey. Let me tell you. So here are some common leaks that might resonate with you. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and ladies, listen, ladies, listen, ladies, listen.
Mm-hmm.
Over explaining. How many times you find yourself just over explaining? Why? Why?
Wow.
It's just what we do. It's a natural habit.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want people to understand, then you got the insecurity. I want you to understand because you might not understand because blah 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 blah. But okay, all right. The over functioning, of course, that we live in over functioning,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just think we live in that space. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Um, being the emotional manager of everyone. So you want to
Ooh.
manage everybody, right? But then you want to be emotional about it.
Mm-hmm.
So your energy,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, let's talk about transferring energy.
Mm.
How are you going to lead emotionally and be transferring energy on people? And we're
Say
not
that.
going to even talk about all the different types of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you might wake up with an attitude because your husband didn't do what you wanted him to do, or the kids didn't do the right thing. Now you're taking that as a leader over into the
Yes.
business, right? Or the workspace, period.
Yeah.
So you can't be, emotional with it. There's a
Mm-hmm.
time and a place. We're not talking about not connecting. We're talking about bringing the unnecessary emotion to the business place. And that's where your leaks are that you
Mm-hmm.
don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Saying yes to visibility without infrastructure. Now that right, woo, do you hear me? Let's break that down. I'm
That's
gonna,
not, that's the person who makes a wonderful video that actually goes viral, and then they can't do nothing with the million of followers that they just gained
thank you.
because we
Thank
don't have
you.
the infrastructure there yet. And
Yeah.
so that actually, yeah, this is the way it's a leak for you. So you got energy out there that you put time and effort and energy into, and it's not turning into any producing of income. It's not producing anything for you. So then that just becomes a leak. That's a
Mhm.
leak. You just put
Yeah.
energy into something that's not going to produce for you. And
Hmm.
so you need to get that infrastructure in place. And I think Sharice and I have both been talking about this over the last year because I think we've gotten to the point where we want the infrastructure in place first before we go out and get visible,
Yeah. Real
because we
talk.
just realized that, okay, let me get this email sequence in place first. Let me get this in place. Let me know. And y'all, that's one of the things that I'm going to be talking about in the branding with intent, our 1 day workshop, is
Hmm.
starting with the end in mind.
Hmm.
What do
Hmm.
you want to sell?
Hmm. Hmm.
Can we get that together? And then can we go
Yeah.
try to sell it?
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
just jumping out there, see me, I'm visible, I'm viral, yay,
Hmm. Hmm.
wonderful. And then what?
Then what? Still broke
Right,
or not where you
right,
want to be. You know.
right.
Yeah. And I think we're just tired of leaving money on the table
There you go.
and still tired of not being where we want to be.
And then
You
that's
know.
another thing that's gonna make you feel burnt out because you can't understand why you're doing all of these things and you went viral 5 times last year and you don't have nothing to show for it. And so that's not gonna
Yeah.
feel good when you at home and you don't understand why the power company done sent you 5 text messages. Like that doesn't
Hmm.
feel good because that feels like I'm doing all this work for nothing. And it's really
Right.
not, it's for nothing because you didn't put that infrastructure in place.
Yeah.
So put
Yeah.
the infrastructure
Absolutely.
in place. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Another leak of energy.
Avoiding hard conversation.
Avoiding hard conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Definitely a
means,
lead. I think where people don't get this, some of these things might not resonate with you as
mm-hmm,
leaks, energy leaks, but they are because if you're not keeping it flowing, so if you're avoiding hard conversations, you're not keeping the energy flowing. And somewhere that hard conversation that you haven't had is blocking, right?
mm-hmm,
So it's blocking energy,
mm-hmm.
which is blocking your money. Every time
Yeah.
it is blocking your money. And I think that's what the people don't understand. Like it is the more that you don't move, the more you block.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more, and that's in any space. That's across life, right? But we're talking money right now. But the more you don't move and having the hard conversation about, okay, so I don't understand exactly what you need. Okay, the contract isn't signed. The contract's still on the table in the email, not signed. Uh, okay, so guys, what are we doing? When is this event? What is the date? What is the time? Who are the people involved? Like those are sometimes hard conversations because you might not have your stuff in order. You might be holding up the conversation. So you're avoiding, right?
Mm-hmm,
Because you don't have your stuff together.
mm-hmm,
And it's just many different reasons. That's why you got to have a team.
mm-hmm.
Like now, when it comes to events, when I know I have an idea in my mind, okay, hey, hold me accountable to a date, hold me accountable to the location, hold me accountable to everything that needs to happen so we can start getting it done. Because I'm more of a mover and an action taker. I'm a mover, but it's
Yeah.
all the details of it. Hey, I'm the CEO. That's your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the assistants or, whoever that I have assigned to it, right?
Yeah.
The event coordinator,
Mm-hmm,
whoever, get it Damn. So have those hard conversations.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is when you're not having a hard conversation, you're avoiding something.
Yeah,
Which
you
is
are.
what you said. You're blocking your energy. You're keeping the
Yeah.
flow from moving. And so,
Mhm.
one of the things about being in leadership is making quick decisions and moving on. And making
Yeah.
quick decisions is usually about having quick conversations and moving on.
Yeah.
So, okay, winding y'all
Yeah.
down. This is some things that I want you guys to do. If you are, and I think I've given you guys a couple of homework assignments. I have to go back and listen into this,
Mhm.
but these are some things that you can practically do today. All right. If you are feeling resentful about anything, sit down and ask yourself, am I feeling resentment about anything? Resentment is probably going to be a boundary violation in your life. Or maybe you haven't set up that boundary yet.
Mhm.
Okay. It could be something as simple of, I don't know. I resent that I got to go grocery shopping on Sunday. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
can we put a boundary in your life that you don't go to grocery shopping on Sunday? That you start ordering them on
Exactly.
Friday
Yes.
and picking them up? Like it could be something that simple. So what I want you guys literally to sit down and say, what am I feeling resentful about? And what boundary can I put in place?
Mhm.
Am I tired? Am I over responsible? Am I under supported? And what can I do to put it in place? What can I do?
Yeah.
If it's as simple as getting the floor swept, okay, let me go ahead and call the agency to get somebody in here that can sweep these floors once a week, once a month. However, what support do you need? This is something that I've talked to my clients about because they're mad because they feel like their partner should do it, but their partner's not doing it. And so y'all can either keep having that same argument for the next 5 years, or you can hire the cleaning service to come
Mhm.
in and give you peace and keep it moving on that thing. And so there's a lot of little things in people's life like that, that they're kind of holding their self hostage because they just won't say, okay, apparently that person is not going to be able to do it for me. Let me figure out how to get it done and get it done and keep it moving. And so I
Mhm.
really want you to have that kind of that energy that allows you to solve the problem. Because what happens, we get up in our emotion. Well, I think it's supposed to work this way. Okay, let's just solve the problem and keep it moving. Solve the problem, keep it moving. Solve the problem, keep
Yeah.
it moving, and let the emotion and how it's supposed to be go. All
Mhm.
right. This is another one thing that I want you guys to do. I
Mhm.
want you to look at your business and I want you to see, where do you need to install a policy and it not be your preference? Well, I prefer that it work like this. Have you turned that into a policy yet? Okay.
Mhm.
The way you know it's turned into a policy is because you have it written down and it's in your policies and procedures book. Okay. If you don't have a policy and procedures book, do you have a policies and procedures file? And I'm talking to myself on this because we're in the process of building our
Mhm.
standard kind of SOP for the practice. And we're making some changes. So I'm talking to myself. So I'm not with y'all. I'm not just fussing at y'all. I'm fussing at myself as well. If you want to scale, it doesn't need to be, well, we prefer to do it like this. The policy is that this organization does it like this. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right. Y'all got to be okay being disappointed, period. And so
Mhm.
some of you guys really need to increase your disappointment tolerance.
Mhm.
Something can't happen in business that disappoints you, that knocks you off for a week. You can't. You're running a business.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
just like, dang, I really wish that thing would have worked out. All right, y'all, what's plan B? All right, dang, plan B ain't working out. All right, let's switch to plan C. And
Mhm.
so you've got to have just multiple options. Me and my partner were actually talking about this last night. We were talking about people who have these great childhoods and great high school careers and then go to college and burn out or like just fail because they can't operate on that level. And
Mhm.
so we were also talking about there's been a couple of football players that they thought they were going to get drafted and something happened with the draft and something went wrong and they never got drafted and they never did anything else with their life. like period. They didn't pivot. They didn't know how to pivot. And so we were talking about the importance of knowing how to fail to get back up again, of knowing how to pivot. And so I actually, I know a guy, and since I've known him, because of state regulations changing, city ordinances changing, he's had to pivot his business 3 times. You cannot be so in love with your business that you can't pivot when a law changes. We're gonna fight the law. Like he's getting the NAACP involved because with some shenanigans going on, and we're gonna fight. But y'all, that's a legal fight that's probably gonna be 5 to 10 years long, right? Your business can't wait for that. You gotta be able to pivot. So y'all gotta be okay being disappointed. You gotta be able to tolerate that, and then you gotta pivot your business to where it needs to go next. Okay. All right. Last one. Stop feeling guilty about stuff. If you're feeling guilty, I need you to go sit down and have a come to Jesus meeting with yourself, and then I'm going to need you to let it go and move on, especially if it's holding you back. Okay? All right. All right, Sharice, winding the people up for the day. What do you want them to leave this conversation with today?
I would say definitely, adopting the boundaries. Okay. Like you have to get clear on your boundaries. Boundaries are not rejection. Boundaries are clarity. They are leadership. Boundaries protect intimacy. They protect profitability, and I mean the intimacy that you need to connect with your audience, they are extremely important because, for instance, you can't have this time with this client interrupting time with this client because you don't have a system of boundaries set, right? You can't have this money overriding this money because you don't have the books right. You have to, it's just so many things that the boundaries rely on. And I think so many people just have not set the correct boundaries, and we have to get clear about that.
Yeah.
One more thing that you mentioned was under supported
Mm.
women. That really stood out to me, and I think women need to hear that word a lot more and understand that you're most likely under supported, and you need to get the right support system. So that was the key word for me from you today is under supported women need support, the right support.
Yeah. One of my mentors, and y'all, I've told the story at least 5 times, and it stood out to me. I was on the phone with one of my mentors, and in the course of that conversation, she said, my therapist said this, my coach said this, my accountant said this, my lawyer said this. And just, I think my doctor said this. And I was like, she literally has a team of people that she's got to be consulting with consistently for them to all come up with this one conversation. And this particular mentor just sold one of her businesses for about $6 million. And so I will not forget that conversation. And that conversation had nothing to do with, I can't even remember what we talked about. I just remember thinking, wow, no wonder she's successful. She has so much support in place.
Yeah, that support system is there.
A coach and an accountant and a lawyer and a therapist and a doctor. Like that is a lot of support.
Yeah.
And so if you read the book, The 5 a.m. Club, one of the things in the 5 a.m. Club that it talked about, and this is like a business book about waking up at 5 a.m. and getting your day started right and all of that and being a success, is getting a massage twice a week. And I was thinking, who got time for that? And the 5 a.m. Club is saying to be a top performer, you have to do that. What? Yeah. Like that's a whole different thought process.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
And I think that's the biggest
takeaway from the book. It says so many other things, and I was thinking, who got time for 2 massages a week? But wow, that's what's required. And so the under-supported was a real huge thing. All right, you guys, we got to run. We're literally out of time.
Yeah.
And so you guys have a great and wonderful day, and we'll see you next week.
Audio Jungle.